All right, so in each town hall, I like to invite folks who've actually read my books and some who've even taken our educational courses. And these are real life people. They have jobs, families, and careers. Or some are retired, but they still want to, make some money in the market. Who doesn't? I want to introduce three of our VIPs today. We got Jack Lucas, retired sales manager from Georgia, with us. Tom Humes is a construction company owner, also a retired Black Hawk helicopter pilot from Delaware, and Sherrie Fries, a dog agility trainer from Virginia. Welcome all. All right, hey. First of all, thank you all so much for being here. It's so amazing being a dog agility trainer on the day that we have the dogs in here, right? We're talking animal spirits. So do you see the connection I'm trying to make with, the notion that, hey, this inside of us, when it's unleashed, it's amazing, and we do amazing things. And ironically, it's reflected in the stock market. There's companies that have this animal spirits that are going out there and achieving things, executing, that have vision, they succeed, and people can invest in them. I mean, and it's so amazing that you actually work with dogs.
Pretty good. I have border collies, and I think you have to be like
those are the smartest dogs out there.
Incredibly smart dogs, and I've done agility. I've done this for years, and I think you have to be like the border collie, and you want to be the best you can. Positive reinforcement, which would be reading the books and doing the education. And when you make those right choices, you just keep building on those right choices, and that's where the education is really paid off.
I love when they do the obstacle course, and they do that weave thing.
Yes.
I mean, I saw one the other day. He was so excited, and he jumped in his train. You know that video, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so how as an investor, because the market's up and down and we don't control that, have you been able to find, with the books or the education, the ability to maintain that sort of optimism?
Number one, stay optimistic. I think you have to have set rules, and then it's building, because you're not just going to jump into it and know everything. So I think it's like training a dog. You just do it in steps. It gets better and better. You put it together, and it becomes your positive reinforcement.
Well, it's great having you here. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Jack Lucas. Jack, retired sales manager. You look great, though, to be retired, my man. How's it going?
Very good.
Good, good. So let's talk about it. You've read the books. I think you do the training. How involved were you with the market before, and how much more involved are you now?
Well, I've had more careers than most people can imagine, so I rolled over a lot of 401ks into self-directed IRAs.
Right.
So I was trading mostly ETFs prior to the education, although I took some time off in 2017 and made some very big mistakes for about a year and lost a considerable sum of money and had to go back to work for another 5 years or so.
You had to reload.
Had to reload.
Yeah. Do you mind sharing the mistake, the crux of the mistakes?
Well, I was trading S&P futures thinking I could figure it out on my own.
Right.
And without any education, just trying to do it. And there were days that I did very, very well, but then the following weeks I would lose everything that I made.
Is one of the keys, though, I mean, I think you got to have a set of rules and stick to them, right?
Absolutely. That's one of the things that I failed to do when I was trading futures, and that I learned with the education services through your program. I'm not a very rules-based person, but I've learned that I have to follow the rules, and I've become much more disciplined.
Jack Lucas, I'm sorry, Tom Humes. First and foremost, Black Hawk helicopter pilot. That was some badass stuff right there, my man.
A great machine. Very dependable.
Golly, it's like if I flew one of those, I don't know, what can you do for an encore after that?
Well, then I went flying medevac, but it was a step down.
Yeah. So talk to us about your investing journey.
Originally, I was a buy and hold investor. So you kind of rode the emotions of the market. The market was up, you felt great. Market was down, and you were down.
Did you mostly buy and hold just the same stocks? You've had a handful of stocks, or just indices?
Pretty much. Yeah. A basket of stocks, mostly in the tech area. So that was prior to the Payne's education. And then that's what helped broaden my horizons and get me off the roller coaster of just riding the market wave. Speaking
of those waves, I was reading in the notes that you started focusing more on facts than emotions. And of course, we call that fundamentals, right? And I always tell people, because everyone invariably says, hey, what do you do when the market goes down? And it's going to go down. And I said, in Michael Jordan's heyday, if the Chicago Bulls were losing by 10 points with 2 minutes to go in the game and someone offers you a chance to bet on them, let's say at 2-to-1 odds, would you do it? The answer is almost, yeah, of course, they had Michael Jordan. That's because Michael Jordan was the fundamentals. We knew the fundamentals. So you've got to do a little bit of work, but it's worth the time if you know exactly what you own, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and then learning also how to play in the market, the upside and the downside.
Right.
So instead of just when it's down, you're just down with it. And once you did, the education, then learned how to also work the downside and also using, put options.
Right. Right. I mean, and that's a good thing to do. Yeah, it's, options can be very dangerous. Obviously, we know it takes a real sense of discipline. I mean, it's like professional poker players. Why are the same 5 people at the last table almost every year when 20,000 people sign up, right? Everyone's great online. Oh, man, I crushed it. Or at the local game, right? They get down to Vegas, and next thing you know, they're getting a drink 1 hour after the tournament started. Now we're in this industrial revolution, Sherrie. I mean, it's exciting stuff. Of course, we've seen what NVIDIA has done. We've seen what some of these other names have done. How excited are you about this the potential? Because I know as an investor, what we're seeing right now is one of these things that comes around every 20, 30, 40, even 50 years.
Yeah. No, I think it is pretty exciting. And one thing I really like is with the education, I've learned how to read the charts, how to do the analysis. And then you do your research, and there's other things you follow. But very excited because I see possibilities. I want to have money for me. I want to have money for my kids and their future. So I'm very happy about what's going on right now.
Yeah. The first paragraph, the first chapter in my book, the latest book, Unbreakable Investors, sort of an ode to my grandparents. And, they didn't have much, but they had a lot more than what they started off with. And that's what I think it's all about. All of you have children right here. And I think we all, I never like to promote the stock market as get rich quick. I think anyone tells you that kind of stuff. I'm not saying you can't get rich. You can do extraordinarily well. But, I mean, you promote it that way, it's wrong. I think I promote it as a way to just change the arc of your life and give your family, Jack, that sort of lift that they may need, particularly in these days, because we were talking about how tough it is for your kids, to start off. It's a lot more expensive than it used to be back in the day.
That's right. And, my grandparents were the same way. Lived on a hill in West Virginia, on a mountain, really, and coal miner. Mm-hmm. My father was a coal miner, or was headed to the coal mines before the Korean War, and he joined the Marines. So I hope to be the first one in our generation, or first one in my family to have ever leave anything of significance to our children.
Yeah. I can see you getting a little emotional there.
Yeah.
We all do, man. We all do. It's just the most incredible dream to be able to do that.
It is. The American dream, animal spirits, the American dream, there are people that are trying to kill it, but it is what has made this country great. Willing to risk, willing to lose and get back up again and do it again.
I think Victor Davis Hanson hit it right. A lot of people take for granted. They don't know how hard it was to get here. Mm-hmm. And it's real easy to lose it if you don't know how hard it was to get. Tom, I'll give you the last word, your thoughts.
Well, it's like you said with the dream. Right now, this generation they don't have any skin in the game. Everything was just given to them. It's like an inheritance. They didn't earn it.
All right.
And my grandfather grew up in the Depression and worked hard and built his businesses. But it was a lot of hard work and that dedication.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of what's lost now without having that animal spirit.
Yeah, it's really tough because it's like when someone hits the lottery, right? I mean, a lot of people hit the lottery and a year or two later they're flat broke. Mm-hmm. They didn't do anything to really earn it. We try our best, but we've got a lot of obstacles between society and TikTok and everything else, But I really appreciate you three for coming through, sharing your story. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for
Charles.
everything.
All righty. Thanks a lot.